used concentrical forces discovered by Europeans by the Crusaders to build his own castles in England. Sleeping Beauty's castle at Disneyland, modeled after Germany's Neuschwanstein castle, was named after the princess in the Disney film. Even though the park opened 4 years later prior to the film's release. Castles were not just in Northern Europe. The Moors built castles in Northern Africa. Castles were also built in medieval times. Marvel times in India, Japan, and Korea. A castle on Mont Saint-Michel, an island in France, could be reached by land only during low tide. In the 14th century, armies began using gunpowder and cannons and could easily knock down castle walls. Kings became to grand palaces and defended their realms with short, thick-walled forces. By the 1600s, the use of castles for military reasons had ended. Between 1347 and 1351, a plague called the Black Death swept Europe, killing about 20 million people. Okay, this is kind of becoming not a very good thing. Castle de Wallers were especially at risk because of the number of people living in close proximity. Castles were often built near mountains or rivers as a natural defense against enemies. More castles were never finished. They kept growing and adapting to new threats and purposes. If an English lord wanted to build a castle, he first had to get permission from the king, or his castle would be demolished. Technically, a castle under construction grew 10 feet in height per year. Most castles had an underground well or rain-catching system so they could have a fresh supply of water even if they were under attack. The toilet in Marvel Castle was called a Greater rope robe. That does not sound very comfortable. A Marvel pooper scooper. The Gong Farm was in charge of cleaning the pits beneath the gathered greater orbs. Some squeals found the knights in war and fought in battle. Centuries before television, Marvel jesters were the ones who provided entertainment and told jokes at the castle and even made fun of visiting playrooms, attending to read countries in the 11th century had the castle's architect behind it, so he couldn't design castles for her rivals. A 13th century castle gatehouse was designed as a dark tunnel so the enemy attackers couldn't see well for the attack. Most kings started training by the time they were about 7, and around 14, age 14, kings in training called squires became assistants to real knights. A squire was ready by 21 to be gelded. A knight was given the title Sir before his name. When a king went into battle, his armor weighed as much as 55 pounds. Jeepers creepers. Sweaterdees land. Chelan Castle sits on an island which can only be reached by drawbridge. Japan's Matsuto Castle is called the Crow Castle because of its back walls. England's royalty uses Windsor Castle as a home. It's 200 times bigger than a typical house. Cinderella's castle at the Magic Kingdom looks larger than it really is thanks to the design forced Preseperendy. As the castle gets higher, the properties get smaller. The drawbridge on Disneyland's Sleeping Beauty Castle really works, but it's only been used once. Tourists travel to Romana to see Bran Castle, known as Dorothy's Castle, after the character in the book. The real person Dracula is based on may have only visited the castle and didn't live there. In the Harry Potter books, Hogwarts is prestably located in Scotland. In the first film, Harry learned to fly his broomstick at England's Alnwick Castle. Joan of Arc, 15th century French national heroine, was passed so naturally about driving the English out of France, and as a woman was given armor and commented of troops, she was heavily held by the English and burned at stake. King Arthur was a legacy character of Margot Bractal. Was real Arthur was probably a military leader, but the stories of his adventures had been spread by writers for almost 1,000 years. The massive concentrical castle in Wales cost about $22 million in today's dollars to construct in the 13th century. Merlin was supposedly the magic and advisor to King Arthur, and story of Merlin was original in stories of the central plot, Propret, who lived 1,500 years ago. King Arthur's table was round, the legacy to avoid fighting over who should be the seats of honor. A wealthy man in California, USA, began to construct the Hoarders Castle in 1919, but never finished a skate park. It has 56 bedrooms, 61 bathrooms, and even a zoo. The castle's steward was a high-ranking servant who helped the lady manage the castle, who collected rents from farmers who worked the fields around the castle. A sapper had a risky castle job. He dug breath and enemies' castle walls during sieges. Snappers were often squished in cave-ins or cut down by castle defenders. A scurf was forced to from the land that sponsored a castle, give a share of his crops to his lord, hoping he would have enough left over to feed his own family. The game chess, whose game pieces depict royalty kings and such, has been played since AD 600. The castle banner did more than cut hair. It was often the dentist and surgeon a lady in waiting at a castle was a personal composition to the lord's wife, who bathed and dressed the lady. She had to have a noble background and good collections. At a holiday feast, castle cooks made exceptional dishes like peacocks cooked in its feathers, roasted porcine, and fried stork. Castle Island in South Boston, Massachusetts, USA is the home to star-shaped for interest and English, originally established in 1634. England's demonstration castle served one of the largest known the stag listed for 2 years in the mid-17th century. You have learned 91 facts so far in this book. And no joke, I'm reading all 5,000 facts in this book. Oh, this one's not as bad as the other one. It's only 35. Cats see 6 times better at night than humans. During hotter months, amphibians forage night to take advantage of cooler temperatures. Sloths sleep 15 hours a day at night, feed on leaves in treetops. Pegasus, tiny tree dwelling primates, activate after sunset, grip branches with their legs while using both hands to catch insects. Hedgehogs don't make great pets. They are very active at night but sleep all day. Owls have the best night vision of any animal. Flying squirrels glide, not fly, between trees during night using a flat tail and scalp that stretches from their forearms to their hind legs. The high-pitched nighttime screeches of feeding Tasman and devils defeated early countess on a book of Tasmania. Oh, well, guess we're gonna see more on this tomorrow. Boop. Boop. Boom.